You're talking a lot today about new energy, new ideas. I mean, there's not a raft of radical policies in there today, is there?
Well, I would disagree with that, and I would point to a couple of things in particular. The announcement that we've already made of our intention to bring in a pilot scheme in Wales to offer a direct payment to families living in poverty, something that Labour has failed to act on over the years. That's a radical difference. And the policy announced today of offering the most generous childcare offer anywhere in the UK, 20 hours a week minimum, 48 weeks a year. This is a big step on the road to helping families with the cost of living crisis, to help with child poverty, to get children on the road to better education. So I disagree. We're a party full of ideas and a determination to set Wales on a different trajectory.
And in terms of that different trajectory, I mean, you want to distance yourself from Labour quite clearly, that you are, as you put it, a radical alternative. But chances are you might need to rely on them in order to get some sort of majority.
What I ask people to focus on is on leadership. There has never been a majority in the history of devolution in Wales, but Labour, with the help of an inbuilt bias in the old electoral system that's gone now, have had at or near half of all seats. And yes, we've been able in those years to influence Labour to do things that otherwise it wouldn't. For example, the introduction of free school meals is because of us.
Your critics say you essentially worked with them.
We've managed to influence them to do things that otherwise they wouldn't. There was a coalition nearly 20 years ago, you're quite right, but that's the mature reality of politics where you don't have overall majorities. We're asking people to focus on that leadership. Who's in that First Minister role? Who the Cabinet is? We're putting new leadership for Wales under Plaid Cymru on the table, and yes, we'll have to look to other parties to support our programme and give stability for government for the next few years.
And that includes working with Labour, a party you said today had run out of ideas.
Well, we're putting the ideas on the table, and we are asking people to get behind us before the election. First of all, I've called for an alliance of the people, if you like, a progressive alliance that can put paid to the ambitions of the populist right to impose their ideas on Wales, which would take Wales back decades. Plaid Cymru is offering that leadership, and yes, in that context, the mature thing that happens in proportional systems across the world is that there has to be an element of cooperation. And that, I genuinely think, is something that people welcome.
Even if that looks to some people that it's not a radical alternative at all, just more of the same with a different person at the helm.
Jackie, I can't spell it any clearer than there has never been a Plaid Cymru-led government before. Never. This is the first time. This is new leadership for Wales under Plaid Cymru for the first time ever. This changes direction. We've never been here before. It's a different way of doing things. New energy, new ideas, new leadership for Wales.
Are you nervous at all about that strategy of pitching yourself up against Reform, given the trajectory that they seem to be on nationally?
Oh, listen, we can't bury our heads in the sand, can we? This is a global phenomenon. Wherever you look in the world, from the United States to South America, across Europe, there has been a growth in support for the populist right. Now, we can just let them run roughshod over us, or we can put in place the politics of hope as an alternative to people. I think it's very, very useful that people can see now, essentially, we have a choice of two futures in Wales. Labour has fallen so far behind in recent polls. It's Plaid Cymru and our positive offer, our vision, versus the division of Reform. We'll do everything in our power, not just at the conference this weekend, but over the next 7 months, to try to get people in Wales to understand what that offer, what that choice is, and to ask them to put their trust in us.
And on exactly that point about how you take on those people who are being drawn to Reform because they're saying they really are radical, they really are a change. What do you say to those potential voters?
Well, I say to them, look at what that would actually mean for the future of Wales. Reform is a party that isn't particularly interested in Wales. They're interested in getting Nigel Farage into Downing Street. They haven't got candidates for next year's election. They haven't even got a leader in Wales. They certainly don't have answers to the issues that we need to face. Plaid Cymru, as a progressive party, has those solutions that we have announced on health, getting waiting lists down, improving standards in education, giving our economy a boost, helping families with poverty. This is the reality of finding answers to the problems that we face, rather than sowing divisions. And remember, Reform needs those divisions, need to pitch one person against the other as the foundation of their success. We can't afford to go down that route in Wales.
But they are having success.
They're having almost as much success as Plaid Cymru, but I remind you again that Plaid Cymru is top of the polls, and I'd rather be leading a party that's at the top of the polls. But I'm not burying my head in the sand here. Labour have gone. It's Plaid Cymru and our progressive, positive option. or it's the division of Reform. It's as simple as that, really.
And just briefly, if you would, what has happened to independence? There will be no referendum for a first term of a Plaid-led government. Have you lost confidence in the fight?
No, I ask people to look at the debate, the discussion on independence, as a debate on what Wales's potential is. Now, I happen to believe that we need a redesigning of Britain where we have independent countries working together for the common good and so that we can set our own agenda in Wales. That's still very much the context in which we work. But I very much believe that the decisions on that will be taken by the people of Wales. I don't think it's time for a referendum yet. I want to lead Wales in that debate. Why wouldn't we want to discuss if there's a different way, a better way of doing things than currently? I just don't believe that this is the best that things can get for Wales.
And on exactly that, you said in your speech today that, you know, we can do things differently. We don't have to believe Westminster when they say this is all you're getting. But you do sort of have to believe that, don't you? You do have to accept that. How do you fight for more?
Oh, listen, we'll make the case where Labour has failed to on fair funding for Wales, on investment for Wales, on rail, on giving us the powers over our natural resources and so on. We are ready to govern now with the powers that we have, and we'll make the case for UK government to recognise Wales's situation and those injustices around some of the issues that I've just mentioned. But we'll always make the case for a more confident Wales, a go-getting Wales. That's what Plaid Cymru has always stood for.
Rhun, Iorwerth, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.